Summoning Jutsu.
Hey everybody, this is Strategywizard and
Crazycraft.
And today we're going to be doing a quick overview of what comes in the Naruto Ninja Arena Sensei pack. Now, this is a very small package as you can see.
Yeah.
But it comes with what you need for all these characters from the Naruto series. Now, fortunately, we bought the Naruto Ninja Arena Genin pack, Core Game Plus Genin pack box. So it already had an expansion built into it. And it seems it was already designed to fit this expansion because everything's in here. There's enough room that they design it so that everything from this expansion also fits. So if you have this particular box, everything will fit in here.
Yeah.
Now,
which is pretty convenient.
Extremely convenient. Yeah. So what
Infinity convenient.
What all do you get? Well, mainly you get the player boards for these 6 characters. You get their special abilities, which I think, yep, that's all those. And you get a few special tokens for those characters. So let's go ahead and go over what all of them do. Okay, Crazycraft, you can start us off with old Kakashi Sensei, the copy ninja. What does he do?
So Kakashi, basically, you're like 1 damage, that's not much. And
1 damage to everybody, though.
Well, yeah, it is everybody. But he also makes everyone have to stack their dice.
Yep, so everyone has to stop rolling and they have to stack their dice. Once they've fully stacked all their dice, then they can go back to rolling.
And then this thing, which needs a yellow cloud and a shuriken, basically the number of yellow things you have, the cloud, you'll do 2 times the damage.
Yeah, so you have to have at least this much, which would give you 2 damage. But for each additional yellow die that you rolled, you do an additional 2 damage. So if you had 3 yellows, that'd be 6 damage. And you could go, so you can do you could do a ton of damage with this attack.
And then, finally, the ability. Oh yeah, what's the going? Basically, he can just copy any ability in the game, and he gets it.
That's right. He is the copy ninja, and he gets to copy someone else's ability that's not in play. So if no one's playing Jiraya, he can say, okay, I'm going to take Jiraya's ability. So that's huge, because it gives him so much in the way of options. It's so powerful. So, yeah, Kakashi is a super powerful character. Now, you'll notice we didn't punch out all the health, but you'll notice he has a lot of health as per wound mark, but not a whole lot of them. So health-wise, he's not necessarily the best, but he's not horrible either. Yeah. But whenever you have an ability this good,
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, so now we'll move on to Guy Sensei, or Might Guy. So Might Guy he's got tons of health, of wound marks and everything, but starts off really weak, but he gets really tough at the end. He also has this really cool attack where he takes his token, and they say throw it, but I guess you can flip it, throw it, whatever you want to do, and however it lands decides what happens. If it goes this way, you do 2 damage to all of your enemies. If you do this, you do 4 damage to one enemy, but 1 damage to yourself. So it's either a little bit to everyone, or a lot to somebody, but you take a little damage yourself. Then, if you do this attack, then basically you do what they call a feint, where you will slap the Uzumaki tile as if you did your special ability, and anyone else who hits it thinking that you did your special ability takes 3 damage. So it's kind of a cool trick where you have the chance, if there's a lot of players, if they all fall for it, you'll do 3 damage to everyone, which is huge.
Yeah, that's super huge.
But if they're paying attention, then they won't take any damage. So that's kind of a very interesting deal. And then finally, and this is hilarious, guys. This comes straight from the show. Because Guy and Kakashi are rivals, and he likes to do, or he did one time, rock, paper, scissors to see who was better. Yeah. Well, with this right here, so you play rock, paper, scissors with whoever does damage to you, and if you win, they'll still do the damage, but you'll heal 3. So every time you get attacked, rock, paper, scissors. If you win, heal 3. That's it. So
that's huge.
He has a lot of chance. It's interesting. That's it. The coin flip means there's a chance of 2 different things. There's a chance you'll heal yourself, but you might not. And there's a chance that people will be paying attention and not. So he's like the most luck-based character as far as all of his abilities, which is very interesting, very different, which I like.
That's very interesting.
Okay, so now we're going to go to Tsunade, the 4th Hokage. Okay. No, 5th Hokage. Golly, yeah, sorry. Okay, Nathan, what does Tsunade do? Okay. Apart from having, again, not a lot of wounds, but a lot in the last one. It's hard to knock her out.
Okay, so basically, Tsunade can do 4 damage with 1 foot.
Yeah, 4 damage to somebody, but also 2 damage to herself.
Yeah, so it's a little bad. But
it doesn't get any easier to do that do so much damage,
with
but
1.
there's a consequence. And then what about this one?
Okay, so basically this one does 2 damage. You need 3 leaf symbols and a punch. But you do 2 damage and you also heal 3. That's a lot of health to get.
Yeah, which again is thematic because in the show she is a healer, so but no one else needs 4 dice for any attack that I can think of.
I don't think so.
Very expensive, but she gets to use her awesome healing abilities, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Now, what about her special ability?
And then her special ability, basically she does 5 damage to anyone that hits the Uzumaki tile last.
Yeah, so the next time someone triggers an ability, that triggers their ability, so that everyone has to start hitting the Uzumaki tile. Whoever hits it before her, right before her, takes 5 damage. So it makes people not want to go too quickly on hitting it because they're going to get penalized for a lot of damage. Very powerful. Okay, next we've got Jiraya Sensei, who is one of the legendary Sannin. Well, so was Tsunade.
Yeah.
Jiraya is pretty interesting. One, he's already got a lot of health to start, although he gets very, very easy to knock out at the end. But his first attack, you'll notice there's these little black numbers here by each wound mark, and that's what this is all about. You roll these 2 dice, and you do damage equal to wherever you are. If you're starting off at full health, it'll only do 2 damage. Then it goes 3, 4, and then 8. So if you're almost knocked out, those 2 dice will do 8 damage. So
that's a lot of damage.
Super powerful as he's getting close to dying.
I'm powerful. Yeah, I really am powerful.
Yeah,
now.
he becomes beastly. Then for these 3, he's able to do 2 damage to everyone and an additional 3 damage that he can distribute how he wants between all the players. So that's also extremely powerful. His final ability, he actually gets an extra attack. He's the only person I think that actually gains an extra attack ability, which means that he gets, for 2 leaf symbols, he can do 1 damage to somebody and heal himself 3. So he gets a little healing ability.
It's just cheaper.
Exactly. It's super powerful to be able to, of course, he could lose the ability, in which case his healing ability is only temporary, but to actually gain an extra attack and it heals him, that's very powerful. Especially considering that, that helps him stay alive longer here to do that 8 damage. That's huge. Okay, and now we have the 3rd Hokage, or Sarutobi Sensei.
Yeah. Okay, so his first attack, I was about to say ability, his first attack basically makes it to where he does 3 damage, and for any dice they want to lock in to get their, have 2 music, 2 sound.
Let's just take, for example, let's say somebody had put this die here showing that they're building up towards this, or if they had just finished and they were just about to do their ability. If you trigger yours first...
Well, it's this die.
Yeah, I guess that would be nice.
Yeah.
Little naked fist. In either case, let's say if you're already building an attack, or if you had they were just about to do it, whenever you attack with this, you do 3 damage, and they have to re-roll one of the dice they have on their board that's going towards an attack. So that's pretty cool.
And in this case, Orochimaru was unlucky because he got missed, not sound. And then his second attack is he does 5 damage and...
Or 5
damage.
He can either do 5 damage to one person, or he does 2 damage, but he makes them lose their ability. Yeah, so if someone else has already triggered their special ability, he can do 2 damage to them and make them lose their ability. That is hugely powerful. Yeah. And then what's his special ability?
His special ability basically makes it to where it protects him from losing, even if you did 1,000,000 damage, if you have this ability active, it'll just go boop. He can only lose 1 wound.
He can only take 1 wound as long as this is active. So this really protects him from taking much damage, which is huge. Woo-hoo. So he really is awesome. I mean, he's got so many wounds anyway, even though a lot of them are kind of small, but still.
But this ability helps it a lot.
Yeah, if you can trigger this ability regularly, you'll stay alive for a long time. Yeah. And finally, we have Orochimaru. Now, one thing that I want to say before I forget, Orochimaru is kind of interesting. You'll notice he only has a wimpy little 666 health, which 666 is interesting because that is, as most people know, considered a somewhat demonic number, or a bad number from biblical standards. So that's got to be somewhat significant there, because Orochimaru is, of course, one of the big villains and somewhat demonic in his own way, but it's very low. That's horrible health. Well, why is that? Well, if he gets knocked out, And this applies not in a 2-player game because you don't get knocked out in the same way. In a 3 or more player game, if you get knocked out, you have a chance to get back in one more time. Well, if he does get back in after being knocked out, he starts back at full health. So he gets to get a whole bunch more health back, unlike anyone else, which is cool. Now, his first attack is unique. Usually, you're supposed to get certain dice, but in this case, you're actually trying to not get the sand or the leaf. So in this case, as long as you roll anything but these, you get to trigger this ability, and it's very powerful. You're going to do 2 damage to someone, and you're going to give them a snake token. He has 2 of them, and whenever you give someone a snake token, you'll notice there's a little bitty symbol here that shows they get -1 die. So they'll put a die on here to lock it, and the only way they can ever get that die back is if they roll a foot. So basically, he's binding you with his snake ability, and you have to try to kick or stomp him into oblivion so that you can get your die back. So
but
that's
Tsunade would be good against that.
Yeah, because her foot's already awesome anyway. Then he's the only person who actually has 2 different tokens from both of his attacks, which is cool. Here, 3 dice, he does 3 damage to someone, and he gives them the curse mark token, which, as anyone who's watched the show knows, that's one of his signature things, is giving people a cursed mark. In this case, the curse mark is like a permanent 3 damage that never goes away. So even if you trigger damage and people take their wounds and get rid of all their wound tokens, this will still be sitting there as another 3 damage. It just stays there perpetually. The only way to get rid of it is if you roll 3 of the leaf symbols. So hard to get rid of the curse mark, and you will want to, because that constant 3 damage could kill you real fast.
That adds up.
And then finally, every time, if he gets his special ability, every single time that he triggers one of his attacks, he heals 1. So the faster he can get his attacks going, the more he heals. He's like a vampire. He attacks and heals in the process. Yeah. So that is everything that you get in this expansion. And I just have to say, it's a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool, unique abilities.
And in my opinion, now you can watch we'll probably have a card somewhere about the Naruto review, but personally, I think the Sensei expansion has cooler abilities than the Genin expansion.
There are a lot of really cool and unique ones, I have to admit. So yeah, this is something that I would highly recommend, just because you get way more variety, a lot of cool stuff. So if you already have and enjoy the base game or the base game with the Genin expansion, highly recommended to get this too, just for the awesome variety that it offers. Yeah. So hopefully this was helpful. If you liked it, give us a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe if you want to see more. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.